Headlines, highlights, the questions burning up the sports world get answered right here. This isn't just another recap. It's the sports answer. And leading the charge, sharp, fearless, and always bringing the edge, your host, Rudy Campos Jr. If you're talking sports, you better have the sports answer.
Welcome to another edition of the Sports Answer. Rudy Campos Jr. here for the Sports Answer. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Answer Now TV. We got very, very, very great things happening at Answer Now TV. And for you sports fans out there, the Sports Answer has a very big thing coming. Be sure to go to Salem Surround, salemsurround.com/San Antonio, or call them 210-526-3635 every single day whenever you need their marketing, their digital marketing. You want to be the best company around, not just San Antonio, but globally. Hey, Salem Surround can make it happen. They're going to put you number one because you are their priority. Call them today, 210-526-3635. Proud sponsors of us here at the Sports Answer. NFL offseason has been a doozy so far pre-draft. Now, the draft still has a lot of questions that we're going to get into. The combine just happened. You saw some early risers. You saw some guys take a little bit of a step back. Ruben Bain Jr. with the small arms, basically the Will Campbell effect. Does that affect him? We'll get into draft coverage as it gets closer to us here at the Sports Answer. But offseason did kick off with a bang. You saw a bunch of trades that were already being made. One of them mentioned is Max Crosby deal. We'll get into that in a second because I question why Jerry Jones didn't offer similar to what Baltimore did. They have the opportunity to do that. I'm not exactly sure why he did it, so we'll get into that. David Montgomery finding a home in the Lone Star State. DJ Moore, is he the answer for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills? And Trent McDuffie, a lot of people do not like this deal, and you know what? I am one of those people in the sense of I like Trent McDuffie going to the Rams, but I don't know about what the Chiefs got because to me that is a gold mine for what they got for Trent McDuffie. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. Also, quarterback merry-go-round, Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, Geno Smith. A lot of quarterbacks are going to be on the move this offseason. Kind of break that down, see where you guys feel they're going to go, plus our Spurs Chisme segment. Playoffs are looming. They are around the corner. Should we worry about the Spurs? We're seeing the best team in the East, and the Detroit Pistons kind of falter right now. We're going to see if the Spurs can kind of go through the same thing. Personally, I don't think so, but a legit concern was brought up by our very own Derek Gervin. Let's get into NFL talk now. As you realize today, waking up yesterday or even do yesterday, that Saturday over here on the weekend is Max Crosby dealt from the Raiders to the Baltimore Ravens. Raiders received a 2026 first, which I believe is the 14th pick in this year's draft, and also a 2027 first round pick. The rumors were swirling, and for those of y'all that are really big time Sports Answer listeners, we appreciate you, but you have to remember, we were calling this months ago, actually, when it came to Max Crosby and the Dallas Cowboys probably being united as one. Everything was swirling around. It was making it really, really, really easy for Dallas to do. They just wanted 2 first-round picks. It didn't have to be this year's 2, but it could be this year's first and next year's first. And guess what, Dallas? You still would have a pick this season. Now, I love the move for Baltimore. It is a win now move for Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, you've got a defense behind you now that can definitely get it done. It's going to be on Lamar Jackson's shoulder now. What does Baltimore need to do? I really think they need to add another wide receiver. If I'm them, I may go look at a Mike Evans, who's a free agent right now. You also can maybe get away with a Wendell Robinson. He's going to be a free agent out of the Giants. There's a receiver out there that you can really go to that I really believe could help them. So get Lamar Jackson, another receiver. I think maybe another possible running back to go along with Derrick Henry. And the Ravens should be one of the cream of the crops when it comes to the AFC title run at minimum. But the Max Crosby deal just it alleviates their defense to no other. Now, again, the Dallas Cowboys were a part of the mix, and they were really close from what we were hearing. I've seen details of what was offered. I don't know. I haven't really can't confirm too much on the details that was offered. But let's say there was a first round pick, and then there was also a second round pick, is what Dallas was willing to offer. So I asked the front office over at Valley Ranch, is there a better player at 12 than Max Crosby? Now, you throw in this year's first, at least one of them. You have two. You could keep pick 20. That's fine with me. I mean, see if Baltimore will take pick 20. It didn't matter. Maybe throw in an extra player in there if you give him pick 20 for this season, and also give him a first for next year. I mean, you had to expect that's what they wanted. Why did Jerry balk on this decision? You're not going to find a better player, a more ready player than Max Crosby for your team right now. Dallas is in a point at right now where they could really turn the tables on the entire NFC. They've got an explosive offense. You just franchise tag George Pickens, so you know he's coming back. Brandon Aubrey is the biggest guy that I'm looking at as a restricted free agent. They put that tender in for him, so they can match whatever Brandon Aubrey gets in the market, in the free agent market. I think they bring back Brandon Aubrey. He's a vital piece to this Cowboys team. But when you look at the hole in the wall here, you look at the biggest glaring need, it's on the defensive side. You mean to tell me at picks 12 and 20, you're going to get two guys on the defensive side that can impact this team right away in this draft? Now, there are some great players in this draft, but the better edge rushers and defensive linemen are going to be going before you. And then you're going to be left with guys that aren't going to have the potential to be Max Crosby elite anytime soon. So my question is, why didn't Jerry make that deal? Jerry, you had the opportunity to give Baltimore that number 12 pick, still kept the 20, maybe go get a cornerback. You may even have another edge guy, Falk, maybe even Parker from Clemson, Peter Woods from Clemson, if you want to get tricky, or you could trade down from 20 and get more draft picks. But you're not going to find a more ready-made defensive player than Max Crosby right now. I think Dallas faltered on this. I don't know what Jerry's thinking. You know, the thing that Jerry always says, we want to win. I want to win titles. You talk a big game, yet you never go through with making it happen. Sure, you can sign all the offensive weapons in the world. You think trying to outscore a team could get you somewhere? It hasn't worked, Jerry. You haven't been Super Bowl relevant since what? The 90s. Max Crosby would have put you into that conversation. And you could have still had more money in free agency because you are restructuring deals to go bolster this defense. A defense that really, truly needs to be ready. Now, the offense, I give them credit. The offense is ready. I like the offense here. But the defense, it's not going to be able to keep up when you're having to score 30-plus points a game just to win. Come on. It was only 2 first-round picks, and it was only just one this year. One this year, one next year. You mean to tell me Max Crosby isn't worth it? I don't understand, Jerry. I do not understand. Baltimore got a great player. We knew Max Crosby was on the move. I did not have Baltimore on my bingo card for places for him to land. But nonetheless, he is a Raven. Ravens definitely in the conversation for AFC contenders. Another player finding a new home, this time in the Lone Star State. David Montgomery has been traded from the Lions to the Texans. Lions received Juice Scruggs, 2026 fourth, and a 2027 7th-round pick. Texans do get on, and they do move on from Joe Mixon, who's going to be released when the actual offseason does hit, the NFL offseason does hit. Now, I kind of like this. I kind of don't like this for the Texans. I understand it. You want to get a veteran running back. DeMeco Ryans loves the type of running back that David Montgomery is. You pair him with Woody Marks. Woody Marks had a brilliant rookie season. He's going to be the speed. He's going to be the change of pace back. David Montgomery's going to probably be your first back out of the backfield. He's going to get you those tough yards. He is definitely can still contribute for sure. But I don't know if you couldn't find a running back in this upcoming draft. One guy that I particularly circled, who's on a list that I've got of sleepers that I feel could really, really make it in the NFL. Robert Henry out of UTSA, locally UTSA. I really feel Robert Henry could make a niche here in the NFL. You could have got him, mid to late NFL draft. But nonetheless, I mean, Nick Casario did make the deal. Montgomery's going to be a Texan. Does this move the needle for Houston? Not all that. It doesn't move it all that for me. I mean, yeah, you're replacing Joe Mixon. You've got David Montgomery here coming in. Doesn't really move the needle. I think that the Texans still need as much of a balanced team and one of the most balanced teams there is in the NFL. The Texans still need a lot of work. And I'm hoping through this draft that they can actually get players that they can use right away, players that can make a huge difference. The offensive line definitely needs to be bolstered. Got to give CJ Stroud and protect CJ Stroud as much as possible. I feel they've got the receiving core to make things happen. It's just the offensive line. The defense is there. I think they could use a little bit of help on the defense as well. But backfield wise, I mean, I liked what they did with Woody Marks. I think they could have got another running back in this draft class that could have easily made a lot of difference for them. I mean, going through some of the running backs that I've got circled on my list, obviously they're not going to get Jeremiah Love, but Robert Henry Jr., again, out of UTSA. I do love Jonah Coleman out of Washington. You've got Emmett Johnson from Nebraska, Kalen Black out of Indiana. There's a lot of guys out here that I feel you could have drafted later in the NFL draft this coming off season. And I'm not saying they're going to have a bigger impact than David Montgomery would for the Texans right away. But again, you're building for the future, and running back at Woody Marks' case, I still think you could have got someone, even if it's a free agent. You want to go after another free agent running back that can kind of spell Woody Marks from time to time. I would say you can probably go and do that. But nonetheless, David Montgomery is a Texan. We're grading this one. I give it a C for the Texans. The Max Crosby deal, I give a Max Crosby deal an A. We'll go back to that. I'll give him an A for Baltimore. And actually for the Raiders, I give them probably a B plus on that. I mean, 2 first-round picks is going to be great. They're rebuilding and Las Vegas. We'll get into that here in a little bit because I think their Fernando Mendoza pick might actually be beneficial with having a backup worthy for Mendoza in case something does happen. So we'll get that here in a little bit. But as far as the Texans go, I got the Texans with a C on this. Like the deal, but I think, in my opinion, you gave up probably a little too much in this deal, and they could have easily found somebody in this draft here. Another guy on the move here. DJ Moore going from the Bears to the Bills, adding a receiver, a top receiver, a wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen. They don't believe in Keon Coleman anymore. Khalil Shakir, they had to move on from him. DJ Moore is a productive guy and could help the Buffalo Bills in their wide receiver room. That way they can maybe get majority out of Josh Allen's prime that he's in right now. I think in the NFL draft, they still go get another receiver or 2 to kind of pair up with DJ Moore. You may see a guy like Jordan Tyson drop a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to drop to the Buffalo Bills in the first round, but I mean, could they trade up to get him? The possibles there. I've actually got Omar Cooper Jr. out of Indiana circled for Buffalo right there. But one guy that you got to keep in mind here, Denzel Boston out of Washington. I love the kid. He's got a big time game. There is also a kid that you've got, and I'm going to get into more of this here in a little while, not a little while, but when we do some NFL draft coverage, I'll get into that here for everyone here at the Sports Answer. But I get Cooper is the guy that I really like that you could probably pair here with DJ Moore, and it kind of gives Josh Allen a really, really good balance. And as much as some people don't really like this deal, I like it for Buffalo. I mean, Josh really needs a big time receiver, and DJ Moore is not Jamar Chase. He's not Justin Jefferson, but he is a legit guy and can be the man in Buffalo. The thing is with Josh Allen, yeah, he's a running quarterback, but he needs those receivers, those big targets. And that's something that DJ Moore will provide for Buffalo. Now, the Bears, on the other hand, they did receive a 2026 second round pick. Like that for the Bears, but I think they're believing in Roma Dunze a little too much here. If we're going to be calling it out right now, I'm going to say Luther Burden, who I talked about last year when he was drafted by the Bears. I loved that pick by the Chicago Bears. When it's all said and done, I think Luther Burden's going to be the wide receiver one. You saw him coming up towards the end part of the season there. Roma Dunze having a whole lot of issues with the Bears and catching footballs left and right, but I think Luther Burden's going to be that wide receiver one. In fantasy draft options in my dynasty leagues, I drafted Luther Burden, and I actually drafted him in the first round. That's because I knew the type of player that he could be, and I loved the system that he was going into with Ben Johnson. So the Bears lose their wide receiver one and DJ Moore. They're putting a whole lot of eggs in the basket when it comes to Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. I believe in Luther Burden. I'm not really a believer in Roma Dunze, who won this deal. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt here. I'm going to give the Bills the win because what I liked about it was they not only got DJ Moore, they also got back a 2026 fifth round pick, which again could lead to another receiver, could lead to more offensive line help, more help on the defensive side. That extra pick in the fifth round could be huge, huge for the Buffalo Bills. Now, the last trade we want to get into here, the Trent McDuffie deal. Now, man, I this was one that really got me thinking, okay. I saw the deal and I'm like, wow, okay, Trent McDuffie to the Rams. The Rams need all the help they can get. They are already a perennial Super Bowl team. They're going to be one of my picks when it comes to the Super Bowl this upcoming season. Matthew Stafford, fresh off of another MVP run. Puka Nacua, one, if not the best wide receiver in the league. You have Devontae. I mean, you've got Kyron Williams, you've got the offensive weapons. They need some help on the offensive line, which they can get through the draft. They have 2 first-round picks this year. So they can get more help in the draft on the offensive line. So I'm not worried about that. They can even go into free agency. There's a ton of free agents out there for the offensive line that they can make an impact. But getting help on the defensive side of the ball, especially at cornerback, Trent McDuffie, great pickup. Love it. But where I feel the Rams lost the deal was they gave up a 2026 first round, which is the 29th pick. Not bad. I mean, you're not going to find anyone better than McDuffie there. But then the 5th round, the 6th round, and then a 2027 third. I think that was a little too much. Now, the Chiefs, can you say they are rebuilding? Possibly. You're giving them 2 first-round picks. I actually feel that Jeremiah Love will fall to the Chiefs' first pick, and it's going to be between Jeremiah Love or the tight end out of Oregon. Let me get that here for you guys. Apologies on that. But you can go the tight end from Oregon, or you can get, or you have Jeremiah Love. I think they go with Jeremiah Love, Kenyon Sadiq. I think Kenyon Sadiq fits what Kansas City's trying to do with, Travis Kelce on his way out, basically. But they need an explosive running back in Jeremiah Love. But then you give Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid a first round pick at 29. They can do a little bit more damage there. I get what people are saying. And I'm not gonna argue the fact that, well, it's Trent McDuffie. He's a difference maker. I truly understand that. But I don't know about 4 picks for Trent McDuffie. One being a first. I'm understanding with that. And the more I'm talking about it, I guess the more I realize that it maybe is a balanced deal because it's a first and then you go into 5th, 6th, and then a third. I think even Mahomes, I think even Andy Reid can tell you they could package, that first and maybe something else and move back up into the draft to get another key player for the Kansas City Chiefs. Could it be another receiver? Could it be more offensive line help? So the Chiefs could come away with having a high first round pick, maybe say a Jeremiah Love or a Sadiq, and then also trade back up into the first round, maybe mid first round, and get a very good defensive player, maybe get a very good offensive line help. They could get another explosive weapon for, you know, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, could you imagine if a Mekhi Lemon was fallen and he's available for Patrick Mahomes? I mean, there's a lot that the Chiefs can do. Trade winner is going to be the Rams on this one, barely. I love what the Chiefs got in return. I think it was a lot for Trent McDuffie. But at the same time, the winner is right now. It's going to be for the Rams because you saw in that Super Bowl run against the Seattle Seahawks, they desperately needed some defensive help, and I think they got it with Trent McDuffie. He's going to be able to pair very well with the Los Angeles Rams defense. They could do a lot of stuff this offseason to get Matthew Stafford, who I really feel is about a year or two away from calling it quits. If not this season, it probably is going to be next season. It's going to be done. And we're going to have to see the changing of the guard for the Rams. But we'll see what happens. Speaking of changing for the guard, before we go to our first and only commercial break here on the Sports Answer, Salem Surround 210-526-3635. Contact them today. Quarterback merry-go-round. Now, we've got landing spots left and right. Now, you see Kyler Murray is going to be released. You've also got other guys that are going to be ended up being released. In Kyler Murray, you've got Malik Willis is another guy that you're going to be looking at here in the offseason. Tua Tagovailoa, you've got Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins, who, I guess the Falcons are going to go with Michael Penix. Kirk Cousins is going to be another one that's going to be released and be a free agent. You've got a lot of backups, too, that are going to be out there. You've got Jimmy Garoppolo, who, man, we haven't heard that name in forever. Marcus Mariota, Gardner Minshew, as mentioned, Malik Willis. You've got Carson Wentz, and you've got Anthony Richardson, who's been given permission to seek a trade. Will Levis, who, again, was a guy that was supposed to be in Tennessee. He's not the guy anymore, obviously, because of Cam Ward. Jacoby Brissett, Jared said, and Mac Jones is a name that you want to kind of keep in the back of your mind. And then the one guy that I really like is Spencer Rattler. Got a very tough situation in New Orleans. Obviously, we know Tyler Shuck is going to be the starting quarterback in New Orleans. I think Spencer Rattler, going to the right system, he could be an instant impact and an instant starter right away. I mean, there's just so many NFL QBs that are going to be going around, be changing, places here for next season. The biggest one, I think, is going to be Kyler Murray. I mean, does he go to the Jets? There's a little bit of a rumor that he may end up going to the Raiders, even though the Raiders are planning to draft Fernando Mendoza. I mentioned the last show, that I don't really believe in Mendoza too much. I think if you draft Mendoza at one, you're feeling you have to play him, but it's also the fact that I don't want to bring Mendoza along that fast. He still has a lot of questions in his game that don't translate well to the NFL. But do the Raiders go and get a Kyler Murray? Do they go and get, a Jimmy Garoppolo? Do they go get a maybe even a Russell Wilson, just to kind of have in the background in case Fernando does struggle right away? But with Murray, another destination he could probably end up going to, you're looking, is more than likely the Jets. Could the Jets really use a Kyler Murray? If I'm the Jets, I'm looking at two guys. I'm looking at Kyler Murray, or I'm looking at Spencer Rattler. I would love to see Spencer Rattler in New York City with the Jets. They can easily bolster their offensive line. They can do a lot this offseason in New York to help Spencer Rattler out. I would love to see Spencer Rattler in New York. I would say that that's probably far-fetched, but I mean, you guys got to understand, Spencer Rattler in New Orleans, even though, it wasn't always a win for them down there, and Tyler Shook, took this New Orleans Saints team to a whole new level. Spencer dealt with a lot of injuries on that team as well. He did get a fair shake, and he did a tremendous job for the Saints. But I really feel Spencer Rattler deserves another chance. I really feel that if you've given the opportunity on the right team, and I think the New York Jets are a really good team for him, I really think Spencer Rattler could be that guy in New York for that team, or even a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, if he was to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers, not knowing what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, that would be a tremendous bolster for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Could we see Kyler in Pittsburgh? Tua Tagovailoa, does he become a backup? The Cardinals need a new starting QB, even though they have Jacoby Brissett. I mean, I would think that they would maybe want to go after another QB. Geno Smith, I think, ends up in Atlanta as a backup. I think that he'll end up being a Falcon in the backup to Michael Penix. The Minnesota Vikings desperately need a quarterback. Could you possibly see Tua going to Minnesota if given the opportunity to start? Maybe Kirk Cousins goes back to Minnesota and pairs up with Addison and Justin Jefferson. Remember, they were one of the better teams with Kirk Cousins there. Now, there's going to be so many quarterbacks on the move. It's going to be tough to keep up here. Rudy Campos Jr. again for the Sports Answer. Send us around 210-526-3635. Quick commercial break, and on the way back, got your Spurs Chisme. We'll be back.
In San Antonio, your business deserves more than noise. It deserves to be seen. SEO, social media, digital ads. If you're not showing up, you're losing customers. At Salem Surround San Antonio, we design digital strategies that work, from web design and SEO to social, podcast, and display ads. Real tools. Real results. Let's amplify your brand. Start today with a free digital presence evaluation. Salem Surround San Antonio, your brand, everywhere it matters.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs chisme. Dime, por favor.
All right, your Spurs Chisme again. Salem Surround 210-526-3635. So your San Antonio Spurs are sitting at a record of 46-17, 3 games behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, who did hit the 50-win mark. And as you can tell, they're going to head into the playoffs more than likely the second seed. They hold, I believe, a 7-game lead over the third place Houston Rockets right now. So it's going to be San Antonio. It's going to be OKC at the top. We'll see which one ends with the number 1 seed. But my time is now is the thing for the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs fans are ecstatic. They see this team growing right before their eyes. They see Victor Wembanyama playing, in most cases, an MVP type caliber player right now. They see him playing at a whole new level. They see the emergence around him of guys like, again, Stephon Castle taking a leap, Devin Vassell going from, a guy to one of the guys when need be. Keldon Johnson continuing to love his role as the 6th man and definitely will be involved in the 6th man of the year chase. De'Aaron Fox continuing to lead. Dylan Harper continuing to improve daily when it comes to him being a rookie. I mean, the Spurs team in general, one, if not the deepest teams in the NBA. You can say that Denver is another team. Once healthy, they'll be another team to be reckoned with. Oklahoma City is another deep team in there. The Boston Celtics with Jason Tatum back, that team is going to be a very tough out in the Eastern Conference, but right now, the San Antonio Spurs, my time is now. The time for them is not now. It's way ahead of schedule. And we kind of figured that, and we kind of understood that. Beginning of the season, I had the Spurs as a 5th or 6th seed in the Western Conference. A little bit wrong on that. But I did have them winning 44 games on the season. They're 2 games over that already. They're gonna get to 50 wins. There's no doubt in my mind. They're gonna do as much as they can to get that number 1 seed. But to think that fans are saying, well, they are championship contenders right now, I will not disagree with you on that. In fact, I will say that they have a legit shot to represent the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. I really do feel that this is a balanced year when it comes to top teams in the league. You see teams like Detroit in the East, Boston, as mentioned. The Knicks could get hot at any time. You still have Cleveland, who could be a force to be reckoned with in the East. Any team that comes out of the East into the NBA Finals is going to be a tough out. It's going to be a tough out. The young card for the San Antonio Spurs, we can still play it because there's really not a whole lot of playoff experience on this team. You've got some guys who have won an NBA title, but again, have they ever been the man on those NBA title run teams? No, they haven't. You're relying on Victor Wembanyama to be the man. And there are times this season where he hasn't quite been the man. And it's been okay. Because the Spurs have a lot of number twos behind Victor. They have a lot of guys they have a few guys that could be the first option on a lot of other teams. So that's what we're asking now. My time is now. Is it truly now or never for the Spurs? This is a team that's going to be with threat for years to come now. They peaked this season, and once they've peaked, they've got to stay up there. So do you fans feel that the Sports Answer fans out there, do you feel that the time is now? Is it now or never for the Spurs? Is it they've got to win it this season because that's all that they know? Because Spurs fans are excited. Is it now? My answer to that is the timing right now is for Victor. He's making it to where he's going to be the MVP candidate year in, year out. He's going to shine in the playoffs. I think the Spurs are going to do really good in the playoffs. Could they get to the finals? Yeah, I think they can. I really do think they can. But the one thing that we've been mentioning is health. They've got to stay healthy. This is the critical part of the season where health becomes a factor. So I really think staying healthy-wise, they could definitely get into the finals. Asking that question, do Spurs have enough to win the season? We just answered it. We think that they do, but the part that we have to look at is who's the guy after Victor? Derek Gervin and myself had a great conversation about this. Who's the guy after Victor? Is there a guy out there after Victor Wembanyama? Is it Steph Castle? Who, again, the turnovers by Steph Castle, it's a lot. But he is the most explosive guy after Victor Wembanyama. Some have said that Steph Castle could probably be the best player on this team. We can get into that debate here with Derek Gervin pretty soon. De'Aaron Fox, he's the leader. Is he the second option? Do you feel that there's too many second options after Victor? That there's not a guy that is going to take over the game and be able to continue the winning ways? I mean, you can have De'Aaron Fox come in, put up numbers, and say, okay, he's the guy. Next game, De'Aaron Fox, 10 points, 4 assists. Then you have Stephon Castle with 28 and 7 assists. All right, well, Stephon Castle's the guy. Next game, it's Devin Vassell with 24. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Is in a playoff series, they're going to need that one guy. They're going to need the one guy that, that is going to be able to be the guy night in and night out in a playoff series. But then I go to the other side of the spectrum here with the fans. Maybe having multiple number 2 guys isn't bad. You can rely if they shut down Fox. You can rely on Devin. You can rely on Stephon. If Stephon's having a bad night and they shut down Fox, you've got Devin, you've got Champagne, you've got Dylan Harper, who I think is going to be really good in the playoffs. He's going to have that whole regular season under his belt. Playoffs are a big opportunity for him to shine. Plus his dad, Ron, kind of been there before, right? Then you've got Keldon coming in. So it's kind of a teeter. It's kind of a seesaw. One side you got, you've got too many options. Maybe it's too many options because we need that one guy after Victor. But you're like, well, wait a minute. It's not a bad thing to have all these options here. That's kind of the debate that we're seeing here. And the reason why it comes up is because of Detroit. You've got Cade Cunningham, and then you've got a lot of guys after Cade Cunningham. We know the ball and the game will run through Cade Cunningham in Detroit. With the San Antonio Spurs, you know the ball and the game will run through Victor. Then you've got a lot of guys after Victor. Now the Spurs are more deeper and have better players than Detroit. I think, you've got Jalen Duren, who makes a big difference in Detroit. You've got guys, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Huerter, Tobias Harris. You've got a lot of great veterans there. But I think the Spurs are more explosive than Detroit. I think they can be tougher than Detroit. But that's the problem that we're kind of seeing behind the scenes. Now, again, we're not calling the Spurs bad, nothing like that. But we like to peel back the curtain and we like to see everything here. We want to see exactly what's going on. We try to get down to the thick of things, and we see that, is it bad to have so many options, or is it better to have a lot of options, but one true option that you can rely on? That's a problem that we're seeing with Detroit, who's kind of faltering in the East right now. They're on a 3-game losing streak. Boston is only, 3.5 games back. The Knicks are only 5 games back. So Detroit is having some issues right now, something we don't want to see with the Spurs. So that's why we asked, do the Spurs have enough to win this season? They do have enough to win this season. But come playoff time, our biggest question is, who's going to be that second guy for them? Who's going to stand out for them? What do you guys out there think? Who do you feel is going to be the second option and the main guy in the playoffs behind Victor Wembanyama? The Sports Answer is on Answer Now TV. You do not want to miss anything. I will tease the fact that we've got a ton of stuff coming for the Sports Answer. We've got a ton coming for the Sports Answer. You're going to love it. Be sure to subscribe, Answer Now TV. Be sure to go to Salem Surround, salemsurround.com/San Antonio. Call them today, 210-526-3635. They are proud sponsors of us here on the Sports Answer. Be sure to hit that notification button once you subscribe to Answer Now TV. Lots of surprises coming. I appreciate you guys out there. No fan question for today. We did have a lot come in, but we had a lot to get into when it came to the NFL talk. So no fan question today, but again, drop those questions in there, because when you have the sports questions, we've got the burning sports answers. Rudy Campos Jr. for Answer Now TV for the Sports Answer. And again, save us around 210-526-3635. We'll see you guys next week.
You've been listening to The Sports Answer with Rudy Campos Jr. Today's show was brought to you by Salem Surround San Antonio, helping local businesses grow with digital strategies that work. Visit salemsurround.com/San Antonio to learn more. We'll see you next time on The Sports Answer.